Mula sa Asian Community Development Council, ito ang Fil-Am in Focus. Mondays at 12 noon, right here on PHLV Radio.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat and welcome to Fil-Am in Focus, a program brought to you by the Asian Community Development Council or ACDC, where we dive into the critical issues, successes, challenges, and opportunities that impact Filipino Americans. Ako po ang inyong host, Edelweiss Solano. In today's climate, with recent executive orders and heightened deportation efforts, fear and uncertainty have surged within our communities. It's important, more than ever, to stay prepared, vigilant, and to actively fight for your rights. Joining us today to discuss this vital topic is Attorney Flomi Diza. Attorney Diza is a certified immigration and nationality law specialist and partner at Reeves Immigration Law Group. Oversees the firm's San Francisco, Concord, and Philippine offices. Since joining in 2024, he has built a reputation for excellence in complex immigration cases, including adjustment of status, naturalization, and asylum and waivers, representing clients before U.S. immigration agencies and courts. Attorney Diza is licensed in California and the Philippines and is an active member of the American Immigration Lawyers Association and served as president of the Integrated Bar of the Philippines Northern California chapter since from 2019 to 2021. And he frequently speaks on immigration topics at Ayala conferences, on PHLV radio, and other media. His community involvement includes free legal services at the Philippine Consulate in San Francisco, pro bono work with ACDC in Las Vegas, legal services for children, and the San Francisco Pathway to Citizenship. Okay, again, thank you for being here with us, Attorney Diza.
Magandang hapon, Vice. Thank you, ACDC and PHLV Radio for this opportunity to collaborate with you on the In Focus episode discussing Know Your Rights. It's an honor and privilege to be a part of such important conversation that empowers the community.
Ay, maraming salamat. Maraming salamat din po, Attorney Diza. Likewise, we are honored to have you on our show. So, Attorney, no matter who the president and everyone living in the United States has certain basic rights under the U.S. Constitution, and these rights apply to all individuals, including undocumented immigrants, and it's crucial that we all assert and protect this fundamental right, especially in times of uncertainty. So, Attorney, what can you, to start off, what are the basic rights every individual should know about, especially immigrants under the U.S. Constitution?
Tama ka dyan, Vice. Lahat ng individuals, right, U.S. citizen, lawful permanent residents, out of status na mga kababayan natin, o yung mga tawag nilang undocumented ay may karapatan sa US Constitution. So marami po yan, pero ang i-discuss lang po natin ay yung mga nag-apply po sa kanila. Unang-una ay yung Fourth Amendment, yung protection against unreasonable searches and seizures. Di-discuss natin mamaya yung mga karapatan nila kapag may kumakatok sa pintuan. It's really important for them to know that only a judge can issue a valid search warrant or warrant of arrest para sa pagpasok at pag-search sa kanilang person. Meron ito po yung Fourth Amendment. Meron din yung Fifth Amendment, which is very crucial and very important. Ito yung right to remain silent. We advise mga kababayan natin na pag kayo tinanong kung ano po ang pangalan, ano ang status nyo sa United States, instead of answering them or giving them false information, it's better to remain silent. And this is guaranteed under the U.S. Constitution. Ang pangalawa po na very important sa mga kababayan natin ay yung right to have a lawyer. Meaning that, they can invoke, especially if they've been here in the U.S. for a very long time, that they can demand to speak to their lawyer, especially if they are being held in detention. And of course, yung due process. Ano ba yung due process na yan? Is really important na bago sila i-deport ay may karapatan sila under the Constitution to be heard in deportation or removal proceedings.
I see. So, thank you for that insight, Attorney Disa. So, yung mga kababayan natin, by understanding our rights such as yung right to due process, protection against unreasonable searches and seizures, right to remain silent, and right to legal counsel, we can ensure that we are treated fairly and justly. And can you explain further po yung Fourth Amendment?
Yes, as we mentioned kanina, the Fourth Amendment is protection against unreasonable searches and seizures wherein when people come knocking at your door, make sure that you have that person is authorized to search your home, right? Meaning that there must be a valid search warrant na signed by a judge, not just a immigration, custom enforcement, or ICE deportation order, but it should be signed by a judge, and wherein they can. That's the only valid time where this immigration will arrest you and will come searching your place to determine whether you are legal in the United States or not.
So, yun po ang kailangan nilang hanapin.
Yes, kasama pa dyan sa Fourth Amendment na yan, Vice, it's very important yung due process. As we mentioned kanina, the right of liberty, very important yan, property, right? Ang liberty natin kasama dyan where, you know, your life is at stake, di ba? So, where you have the right to a deportation hearing, you know, and hire a lawyer in case they try to remove you from the United States and send you back to your home country. So yun yung due process din na kinakailangan pakinggan ka muna at hindi basta-basta i-deport. But of course, ito is subject ng exception, especially with this Trump 2.0 where may tinatawag tayo expedited removal na walang karapatan yung ibang kababayan natin ng due process. Kasi nga, these are exempted sila dahil sa nature ng kanilang status, kagaya halimbawa that they were being apprehended at the border, no, or within 200 miles within the border, or they've been here in the US for less than 2 years. So yung mga kababayan natin na nag-overstay dito at more than 2 years sila, we always encourage them to bring a proof that they've been here for a long time, and if they have some basis to fight their case before the immigration court, they can always tell that to the arresting officer that, you know, either I'm seeking a relief, either asylum, or I'm married to a citizen now, or I'm waiting for a priority date from my employer or from my family member where I can adjust in the future because I am subject to 245I. So you can invoke that and then you can have that right to a hearing before the immigration court. So ito yung right ng due process, Vice, at you know, at pinoprotektahan ng US Constitution.
Oh, I see. So, pag immigrant po, ang kailangan is yung they have the right to yung notice, opportunity to be heard, and the fair trial. Pero katulad ng sabi niyo po, Attorney Diza, may mga exceptions. And kung paano po yung mga undocumented immigrants, are they also entitled to due process?
Yes, they are also entitled to due process just because this applies to all citizens, U.S. citizen, lawful permanent residents, undocumented, or out of status. They are entitled to due process of law. May batas yan, Vice, where when people get arrested and placed in removal proceedings, they have the right to hire the lawyer and apply for an immigration relief before the immigration judge. As we mentioned kanina, if they fear of going back to their home country, halimbawa sa Pilipinas, because of past persecution or future persecution, or nakapag-asawa sila ng US citizen, or they were a victim of crime. So there are several relief na pwede nilang i-invoke or magiging basis ng kanilang defense before the immigration judge. That's why it's really important sa mga kababayan natin na undocumented or out of status to seek legal advice, right? Especially the time where they get arrested or in danger of being arrested.
I see. Thank you po for that thorough explanation, Attorney Diza. So, importante talaga for our kababayans to know the appropriate steps and to take that legal counsel para if ever they faced with any agents po. So, and then also protect themselves and yung mga kapamilya nila. So, paano po naman kung yung kababayan natin is, or anyone who is faced with an encounter involving yung US immigration and customs agents, ano po what should someone do if they come to their home or their place of work po? Are they required again to let them in without a warrant?
Magandang katanungan yan, Vice. Lalong-lalo na ngayong panahon ng Trump 2.0, and it's been there since his first administration, President Trump's administration, where we advise our kababayan to avail of many resources, online resources, social media resources, kagaya natin nagbibigay ng edukasyon para sa mga kababayan natin about know your rights. So tatlo yan, Vice, rights in case ICE comes knocking at your door, right? Sa bahay po yan, o nasa trabaho po kayo, o nasa public place kayo, o limbawa nasa daan. So yung nasa bahay at saka nasa trabaho or nasa public places, pare-pareho yan, that you can invoke your right, right to remain silent, right? So, well, unang-una pala, kung sa bahay, people come knocking at your door, you need to ask them politely kung anong kailangan nila, right? At kung sabi lang hinahanap nila isang tao, you can tell them that you have the right to remain silent. And also demand, as we mentioned kanina, whether these people have a valid search warrant or warrant of arrest. Pag sinabi lang meron, anong susunod yung sasabihin? Pwede bang tignan or pwede bang makita? So not necessarily that you open the door, right? Kailangan slide nila yun sa ilalim ng tawag nito, ng door po ninyo para hindi nyo pagbubuksan. Kasi pag binuksan nyo, lalo kung siyempre malalakas nito, the persons in authority, baka akala nila binibigyan sila ng authority to come in. So ang gagawin po ninyo, pag i-slide, titignan nyo po yun kung talagang pinirmahan po ng judge, hindi po pinirmahan ng immigration officer or yung Homeland Security or kung sino man dyan sa Immigration Custom Enforcement. So very important to find out whether this search warrant or warrant of arrest is signed or was signed by a judge. Now, ano pa ba? Pwede rin yung right to remain silent. Importante rin yan na huwag kayo magsinungaling at sasabihin ninyo na you don't want to answer the question, right? At ganoon din yun sa trabaho. Halimbawa, tinanong kung mayroon ba kayong social security or right to work in the US, you can politely answer them that you don't want to answer the questions. Now, sa mga workplaces, kagaya ng bahay po, private po yan unless magkaroon ng consent ang may-ari. Right? Sa mga private places inside the business premises, pero yung right na yan hindi yung nag-extend sa mga public places. So just make sure to determine kung ano yung public place at saka yung mga private places. So just make sure that you know the distinction. Ganon din yung right to remain silent, lalong-lalo na sa trabaho, kung mayroon nagkahulihan dyan, don't run away and don't panic, right? Mag-isip po tayo at sasabihin po ninyo, kalmado lang po kayo dyan po lang kayo sa tabi. At kung pwedeng umalis naman, dahan-dahan lang kayong umalis kasi baka akala nila pag kayo tumatakbo, that means you're guilty and they might go after you. So that also applies sa mga public places at saka sa you're stopped at a tawag nito while driving and you violated a traffic, there's a traffic violation. Pwede nyo pong invoke yung right to remain silent. Of course, iba po ito kung police officer ang nag-stop po sa inyo. Of course, kung may violation kayo, you have to comply. Pero kung immigration officer po ang nagpa-stop sa inyo, you can also invoke your right to remain silent and invoke a right to a lawyer. Importante po yung right to a lawyer, lalong-lalo po kung dinadala na po kayo sa detention. At i-remove na kayo anytime within the day or the following day. Kasi mahirap po ipaglaban ang kaso po ninyo once you are already deported to your home country. So it's better po na habang nandito pa kayo at may opportunity to defend your case and fight your case before the immigration court, to consult a lawyer and demand that you speak to a lawyer and that you want representation before the immigration court.
I see. So, talagang pong importante is to know the, yung differences nung if you are, nang na-stop ka in private and then in a private place and a public place po. And then, thank you po for providing yung steps that what our kababayan can take or anyone who are being detained or about to be detained and how they can protect themselves po in that kind of situation. So importante is not to panic and invoke your right to remain silent and legal counsel as you have advised earlier. So maraming salamat po. And in times of uncertainty po, and especially when it comes to immigration matters, talagang it's crucial for individuals to have access to resources na will provide guidance at support. Ano po ba yung mga ibang community resources po or organizations that can help individuals po understand their rights and provide support?
Yes, unfortunately, Vice, ang federal government under President Trump's cut the funding of a lot of immigration advocates, immigration lawyers, law firms, and tawag nito, mga non-profit organizations. Maraming kagaya po ninyo na tumutulong hanggang ngayon, right? Ang ACDC at marami pa dyan that are being funded by the state, relying on the state, but hopefully the state's funding will not be will not be from the federal government kasi mahirapan tayo niyan. I mean, maganda sana kung self-sufficient ang non-profit organization or being funded by the state that are considered sanctuary states na nandyan pa rin. Marami po tayong pwedeng hanapin ang mga free legal resources kagaya po ng ACDC where you can seek legal consultation. Meron din pong sa mga law firm, pwede rin po kayo magtanong kung meron po sila mga pro bono o law bono kung sakaling hindi po nyo makaya, may tatawag na law bono na instead of charging you the full amount of legal services, they can also accommodate at this point in time. Many law firms, especially members of the American Immigration Lawyers Association, where I am part, meron po tayo dyan sa Nevada chapter, meron din dito sa Northern California, Southern California, and the AILA as a national organization provide free legal consultation and services assisting immigrants. I-remind natin ng mga kababayan natin, pag kayo'y po'y na-aresto at you invoke your right to a lawyer, it's important to know the telephone number of your lawyer or kanilang email, right? I-memorize nyo, put that in your memory, commit that in your memory kasi kukunin nyo ang cellphone po ninyo. So hindi lang yung abogado ang alam nyo ang tawagan, you can also call your family, very important to know your whereabouts kasi bibigyan sila ng opportunity to speak to the relatives once they are in detention. Or they can also demand Vice to kung wala silang abogado, right to a lawyer, and they should provide them the free, hopefully they still do that at this time where the ICE officers should provide them the free legal firms that they can reach out kasi may mga nagpapatawag nito meron mga authorized and recommended na mga immigration courts na mga law firms that provide free legal services or yung mga non-profit organizations. So they can also request that, and hopefully the ICE people will still honor this long-time policy where they should provide this to detainees or people that were arrested.
I see. Okay. Well, thank you po for that. And I do believe there are also mga other organization and resources that provide both legal information po and support. Katulad rin po ng yung Immigrant Legal Resource Center or ILRC. So they offer resources to both individuals and organizations to increase access to legal services for immigrants. Meron din po yung ACLU, which is the American Civil Liberties Union, that provides resources on a variety of civil rights, including po yung immigration rights, and they offer educational materials, guides, and support din po. And it's great to know po yung mga organizations that you also mentioned earlier to be able to increase legal services for ano po, immigrants as well as yung ating komunidad, and basically helping them understand yung basic rights po. So kung unsure po sila on where to turn to, knowing yung mga other community-based organizations will be incredibly helpful po. And ano po, for our kababayan po, how can we in our community po, how can we work together to ensure everyone's rights are protected?
That's really a very good question, especially at this Trump 2.0, where people should collaborate, like what you're doing, Vice, that you're initiating this, what do you call this, forum, where we inform our kababayan, because, educating them will empower them as well. Know your rights, hindi ka sila kakabahan if they're confronted in this kind of situation. Marami sa mga organizations like the Integrated Bar of the Philippines and individual lawyers that contact their consulate, where they collaborate also with the Philippine Consulate General para i-live kagaya nito sa mga kababayan natin about their rights. That's really important to come together as a community. Kasi kung mag-isa lang yan, ikaw lang po ang magsosolve ng problema, mahirapan po tayo. So, yun po ang advice natin, is to get together as a community, and we get through this. We've been here before, as we all know. This is the second time where the president is in power, but as we all know, he came in stronger than the first one, and he knows what we're doing. Pero sa ating kagaya po natin naman, ng mga immigrants and immigration advocates, we are here to help you and educate you about your rights.
And the Filipino-American community po, like many others, may face unique challenges po in light of the recent executive orders and heightened deportation efforts. So, talagang importante po to stay informed about the changes in policies and potential impacts on immigration, family, unity, and legal rights. So, what advice po, again, can you give to the Filipino-American community and other communities here in Las Vegas in these challenging times to help us stay informed and protected?
Yes, marami sa mga kababayan natin wala pa ring status, Vice, and there's about 200 to 350,000, and that's a high. 350,000 out of status sa mga kababayan natin wala pang papel. May mga green card holders din na may mga issues when it comes to crimes or misrepresentation. Number one, sa mga kababayan natin, stay informed. Alam niyo yung rights niyo, as we mentioned, yung pinag-usapan natin kanina, right? Or kung eligible na kayo to file for naturalization, do it now. If you can still file for your family members, do it now. I mean, maraming mga bali-balitang lumalabas that you can no longer file for your spouse or for your brothers. These are still in place, and yung same-sex marriage still in place. May mga client tayo na nagtatanong din, can I still marry my partner? Right? They said yes, and even if these are in dangers or subject to changes under Trump administration, this would be subject to litigation or lawsuits where until it meets the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court says no, that's the only time that you can do petition a family member anymore. So stay informed po, that's really important. And also be aware of your surroundings, because even if mga Pilipino, alam natin, and a lot of people are for the removal of undocumented people who have committed a very serious crime. Majority of Americans and even Filipinos would agree to that position. Pero as we all know, more than 0.5% of those deported have no criminal records, or if they do, minor offenses po lang yan. So just be aware of your surroundings. Just make sure that take care of yourself. Sometimes yung mga na-aresto are people at the wrong place at the wrong time. So just make sure to know your rights. Na inuulit po natin sa social media and this conversation that we have, right? Commit them into memory at alamin po ninyo when confronted to that situations. Now, sa mga legal immigration naman, we all know, lalo naman naghihintay ng mga visa availability sa Pilipinas. Andyan pa rin po ang petition, as we mentioned kanina, valid pa rin yan. Although we know that under the present administration, magkakaroon ng extreme vetting, meaning evaluate lahat ng mga applications right? Kung kayo po nag-apply ng benefits, immigration benefits kagaya ng petitioning family members, asylum, DACA or anything like that, or any kind of application that is still in place, make sure that you do it correctly, because unlike in the past where the government or the USCIS will allow you to correct the mistake by them requesting a request for evidence, right? That now even an incorrect information on your application might cause not only a rejection but also a denial. So tatanggapin nila ang filing fees ninyo and then eventually deny the application because of incorrect information, incorrect form, incomplete applications, incomplete documentation. So yun din sa marami sa ating mga Pilipino that are doing the legal migration by petitioning family members. H1B is still there sa mga kababayan natin nagnanais na magtrabaho under professional, andyan pa rin naman. So keep on exploring your options, even with this time of uncertainty under President Trump's administration. There are still legal pathways for you to be able to come here legally, and hopefully that you'll be able to get your green card.
Well, thank you po for those helpful advice, Attorney Diza. So, to sum it all up, yung sabi niyo po talagang importante is to know your rights and stay informed, most especially about yung policy changes. Tapos, importante rin is to, nasabi niyo po kanina, is to prepare your legal documents. So, if you or someone in your family is at risk of deportation, is to really have those legal documents in order. Tapos, importante is to consult with an immigration attorney to explore options and such as yung mga relief programs po. And engaging with yung community support, lalo na yung sa ating mga kababayan and yung mga immigrant communities, kasi essential yun for sharing information and to reach out to organization, mga trusted resources for legal resources or even support, at dahil sila yung nagsispecialize in immigration support and rights advocacy. So, maraming salamat, Attorney Diza, again. And talagang in times of uncertainty, knowledge truly is power, and it's comforting to know that there are resources and organizations that are ready to support and protect our community po. At meron pa kayong last advice para sa ating mga kababayan bago po tayo mag-close ng episode?
Well, first and foremost, Vice, thanks for inviting me here at your program, Fil-Am in Focus. It's my first time to be. I know we are part of the PHLV radio, but it's always nice to be in collaboration with other hosts and producers to give more public service sa mga kababayan natin. It's my privilege and my honor to be here today. At sa mga kababayan natin na naghintay pa or may mga natatakot dyan, wala pang legal status, or kung meron legal status, if you have some immigration problems, feel free to have a consultation with us, and we'll give you a free legal consultation if you tell us that you heard us from Fil-Am in Focus or at PHLV Radio. Maraming salamat po again for inviting me. But before I end, Vice, happy President's Day sa inyong lahat. Ganun din sa ACDC. And before I end I would like to quote one of my favorite immigrant quotations from one of the presidents of the United States. It says, nearly all Americans have ancestors who have braved the oceans. Liberty-loving risk takers in search of an ideal. Immigration is not just a link to America's past, it's also a bridge to America's future. And that's from George W. Bush, one of my favorite quotations on immigrants. Maraming salamat ulit and have a great day po sa inyong lahat.
Ay, maraming salamat po, and that's a beautiful quote that you shared, Attorney Diza. And maraming salamat din po for listening and watching Fil-Am in Focus, a program brought to you by the Asian Community Development Council or ACDC. And sa ating mga kababayan, we hope that today's event has event and episode has empowered you with knowledge and resources to better understand your rights and how to navigate the challenges facing our community. And Attorney Diza, maraming salamat po ulit for your time and for sharing such valuable insight today. It will certainly help a lot of our kababayan and community to help us all navigate these challenges with greater confidence po and resilience. And together we will be able to continue to support and protect one another. So stay informed, stay safe, and take care and know your rights. Importante po yon. So for more information about ACDC, please visit our website at acdcnv.org and stay connected with us by following our social media channels. Abangan po ang aming susunod na episode. Hanggat sa muli. Maraming salamat po.